Understanding coma. After having worked in this area a number of years ago, I felt that it was important to share the knowledge gained through my experiences. I realize that this may be a very sensitive area for some, but my intention and wish is to shed some light and alternative knowledge into this specific field that may help those involved. What is coma? A state of coma can be defined as a deep unconscious state of which, medically and clinically speaking, very little is known, apart from the physical symptoms present. Coma can occur for a number of reasons that in general have a physical basis. For example, it can be due to not regaining consciousness after an operation, although this is not a common phenomenon. Coma can also occur through an individual receiving an extremely large electrical shock, such as whilst working on a railway line. It can also arise after head injuries, which may have occurred during a car accident. From my understanding, there is no such thing as an accident, only a happening, which could be defined as a response to karma and soul contact related to the incident or accident itself. There are deeper laws at work here if you are in acceptance that death is also a healing release. The spirit and soul qualities of a coma patient are given little recognition or evaluation by the medical profession. This is due to the past history of medical development and its approach to curing sickness. The physical body is an indicator of what is happening to its life force in response to the life force of the soul. The coma patient usually lies in the hospital bed, motionless, often with their eyes open, seemingly lifeless as they stare into space. Coma patients are often connected to an array of life-saving machines, some of which serve the respiratory organs. There may also be any number of drip lines to feed the body with vital fluids and foods. When a patient is in a coma, their physical body has, it seems, given up control of itself to the point where it has become disabled and offers little possibility of returning to full consciousness. Such a condition is a dark area for the medical fraternity who are treating such a patient. It is my understanding that greater and deeper knowledge of spiritual science could be of tremendous benefit to all concerned regarding this matter. Medicine works well with assessing the patient's situation purely from a physical point of view, but whilst the patient is artificially kept alive, no one really knows or understands what's taking place within the patient's psyche and consciousness. From my experience, I have come to realize that there are two forms of coma. Firstly, there is the coma of restitution, and secondly, there is the coma of death. The coma of restitution. With this form of coma, the individual soul has not yet decided to fully leave the physical body and is reassessing its entire lifespan, from which it may well re-enter the physical body to continue its journey on earth. This is often indicated when the patient regains consciousness for a short period of time and then relapses. Also, patients of restitution often require less life-saving equipment and are able to voluntarily breathe, for example. The coma of death. The coma of death is when the soul has decided that this particular lifetime has been fulfilled and will return to its original place of birth. In this particular case, medicine often intervenes by artificially keeping the physical body alive, which for me prevents the spirit and soul from journeying home. Sooner or later, the medical intervention will have to stop and the mechanical means of prolonging life will be turned off, hence releasing the spirit and soul. After having worked with coma patients on a telepathic and clairvoyant level, I experienced that the spirit and soul of the patients are both fully aware of what is occurring within their domain. For example, with both forms of coma, restitution and death, the patient's soul energy was present in the room. It has the ability to read anyone's energy that comes into its environment, such as how the nurse was feeling or what the doctor was thinking. As a healer, one can see a continuing journey of the patient's soul and is in no way attached to suffering. In this manner, the healer feels, sees, and hears all things that the patient is experiencing and is aware of events without being emotionally involved. I feel strongly that the circumstances around the coma need to be seen and addressed holistically. This will provide clearer insight and will also take into consideration the soul's journey. Through the eyes of spiritual knowledge and the insight provided therein, greater wisdom of such a condition can only serve to remove the misunderstandings and ignorance regarding this condition. Over many decades, medicine's response towards healing has moved further away from the holistic views and practices. As medicine develops further and deeper into mental thinking, it becomes more separated from the spirit of life. This has brought some great advantages and benefits, whilst at the same time creating greater separation between doctors and healers in relation to a holistic awareness of illness. I am only too willing to help and guide others who have an interest in this subject matter. Thank you for listening. Love and light, Ralph Jenkins.